I'm Marilyn, sitting in my office, surrounded by the digital glow of real-time sales data and market analytics. I'm reminded of that fateful dinner at the fancy restaurant. The moment the news about my fashion empire, Lux Nova, went public, it was as if a bomb had gone off at our family table. My mother, Mrs. Thompson, a socialite obsessed with high society status, was sipping her champagne in a Dior suit. My father, Mr. Thompson, a self-proclaimed financial wizard, was buried in his Financial Times. My brother, Henry, a 32-year-old hedge fund manager, was adjusting his Patek Philippe watch, and my sister, Lily, a 29-year-old fashion influencer, was dabbing her lips with a monogrammed napkin. They were the picture of so-called success. I, on the other hand, was sitting quietly in a vintage style dress that Lily had scoffed at as being out of fashion. Little did they know it was from my own Lux Nova collection, crafted with revolutionary techniques that were about to shake up the luxury fashion world. Mom started. Marilyn's still running that little boutique downtown? When are you going to get a real career like your brother and sister? As she spoke, the smartwatch hidden under my sleeve was silently tracking the global inventory of what they thought was just a tiny store. In fact, real-time sales data from our secret flagship stores around the world was pulsing against my wrist. Fine, I replied softly, knowing that our Tokyo location was just finalizing its grand opening. Henry snorted. My hedge fund made millions last quarter. Your little dress shop is cute, but it's no real business. Lily adjusted her designer scarf, which was a knock off of one of my designs from last season. At least think about getting a proper retail space in a mall, she said. I thought about our state of the art manufacturing facility in Florence, where master artisans were creating pieces that would make traditional luxury brands look ordinary. I'm happy where I am, I said, as my phone signaled another large order from the European market. Dad lowered his paper and said, that small storefront can't even pay its rent. Your trust fund won't last forever with all those retail expenses. I calmly replied, I haven't touched the trust fund in 6 years. Lily nearly choked on her wine. Then how are you surviving? That shop can't possibly support you. Just then, my phone started buzzing like crazy. Breaking news flashed on the restaurant's TV. Lux Nova, the luxury retail chain, goes public at $5.8 billion. The mystery designer behind Lux Nova is revealed. My corporate photo appeared on the screen, followed by footage of our global stores. Henry's coffee cup clattered to the saucer, staining his expensive suit. Dad dropped his newspaper. I finally said, that's my company. 40 locations, 15 manufacturing facilities, and revolutionary design techniques that are changing the luxury market. Lily's hand trembled as she grabbed her phone to search for my name. Each headline made her shoulders slump. Mom stammered, but that little shop. It's so basic. I pulled up the store's blueprints on my phone. It's my incubator. Above it are 3 floors of design studios where we developed patented techniques that are making old-fashioned luxury brands obsolete. Dad, with his financial expertise, scanned the market numbers. These valuations are impossible for a retail business. I smiled and said, when you own the whole supply chain, it's possible. And those designs Lily keeps copying? They're protected by multiple patents. Henry frantically pulled up his investment portfolio. Why didn't my analysts catch this? We track every major retail IPO. I answered, officially we were just a small boutique. It's amazing what you can build when people underestimate you. The other diners in the restaurant were starting to stare, their phones discreetly recording the family drama. Lily said, those weird packages you got every week. I made fun of them on Instagram. They were prototype materials, weren't they? I nodded. Each shipment was worth more than your entire designer wardrobe. And that scarf you're wearing? It's a knock-off. The real one launches next week at double the price.
My phone rang.
It was the editor-in-chief of Vogue. I declined the call. The fashion world could wait. Mom whispered, you never said anything. All those charity events, I had to explain why you didn't have a proper career. I pulled up our client database. Half the people at those events are on our waiting list. Those designer labels you love are being replaced by Lux Nova. Henry finally said, "We should talk about family investment opportunities." I cut him off. Too late. The IPO was oversubscribed in minutes. You might want to check your hedge fund's fashion holdings. Our techniques are making traditional luxury brands old-fashioned. The TV switched to footage of our Florence facility. Artisans were working with machines I designed, creating pieces that were redefining luxury fashion. I added, the manufacturing also has medical applications. That hospital board you're on, Mom. They're new antimicrobial fabrics? That's our technology. Lily was already drafting a post about her innovative sister. I said, don't bother. Our PR team has strict rules about family statements. They'll contact you with approved content. As the shock wore off, Henry demanded, show me the numbers again. This has to be a mistake. I projected our company's full financial dashboard on the wall. Current valuation, $5. 8 billion. Revenue growth, 350% year-over-year. Market penetration in luxury segments, 45% and rising. Lily's perfectly manicured hand shook as she scrolled through her social media. All those posts I made about supporting small businesses. They're archived, I said, pulling up her digital history of mocking my shop and suggesting I get a real job in fashion. Mom was thinking about the country club's fashion show. I cut in. Lux Nova's preview is invitation only, but Lily can watch the live stream with her blog followers. Dad finally realized, you used that Italian pseudonym all this time. The one I said sounded pretentious 4 years ago. I confirmed. Now it's worth more than your entire investment portfolio. My phone kept buzzing with requests for exclusive interviews. A text from our London location showed crowds gathering outside for our pre-launch collection. Henry said slowly, those late-night deliveries. When you said you were restocking inventory, they were prototype shipments from Florence, weren't they? Each package was worth more than my quarterly bonus. I smiled. And those security guards you mocked? They were protecting millions in revolutionary textile technology. Lily's designer handbag suddenly looked cheap compared to my clutch, a prototype worth more than her monthly salary. Dad asked about the trust fund. I said, still untouched. I kept it as a reminder. Every time you threatened to cut it off, I acquired another facility. The restaurant's private room was filled with holographic displays of our global operations. Mom tried to talk about a potential collaboration with Lily's position at a high-end fashion store. I laughed. We just declined their partnership offer. Our standalone boutiques are outperforming their entire designer floor. Henry's phone lit up with messages from his hedge fund partners. Our fashion portfolio is dropping because of you, he said. I explained, those luxury brands you invested in, their manufacturing techniques are obsolete. Lily's influencer facade cracked as she watched models on our Florence runway wearing designs that made her wardrobe look like fast fashion. She whispered about the little sewing machine in my shop window. I said, it's a prototype worth millions. The window display alone could buy your entire designer collection. A few weeks later, back at my office, my AI assistant, Luna, informed me that the Met Gala committee wanted Lux Nova to be the exclusive designer for this year's event. She also updated me on the family situation. Mom had been removed from 3 fashion charity boards because her old comments about my little shop didn't fit their new innovation-focused image. Lily lost her job at the fashion store and submitted her resume to our marketing department, trying to rebrand her past condescension as Luxury Retail Insight. Dad's investment firm sent a partnership proposal, the same firm that once called fashion retail a losing game. Mom came to my office, clutching her now outdated designer bag. Security wouldn't let us in, she said. I explained, biometric screening detects potential corporate espionage. Your anxiety levels were flagged. She tried to manipulate me, saying the society papers were asking why the family wasn't involved. I waved up the social media analysis, showing all her dismissive comments over the years. She whispered, we didn't understand. I replied, you chose not to understand. You were too busy bragging about Henry's hedge fund and Lily's blog to notice I was revolutionizing the industry. I raised my hand, and the room filled with live feeds from our global operations. Manufacturing facilities were running smoothly, boutiques were providing unique experiences, and fashion breakthroughs were happening in real time. As Luna informed me that the Vogue cover story was ready for approval, Mom's eyes widened as my office transformed into a global command center. She tried one last time, the family name. We could partner. I cut her off. The name is trademarked. It represents innovation, not the status you chased for so long. I watched as the smart windows tinted, cutting off the past and unauthorized access. Behind me, the displays showed our retail network expanding across the globe, each store generating more revenue than Henry's entire hedge fund. I built this empire not to prove them wrong, but because fashion deserved more than their shallow understanding. The future of luxury retail was unfolding before me, a testament to the power of ignoring critics and pursuing true innovation.